Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Paradigm Paradox, continuing Ayamu's route. Yeah, we're just continuing where we left off, obviously. We found out his backstory, his parents are psychos. Anyway, I decided to speak with Ayamu again a few days later, and waited for him in front of the student council room. The answer is simple, if I only consider what I want to do, no matter what Ayamu may think. I should tell him how I feel about all this, even if he rejects it. Oh, I was like, why is that so loud? Holy shit. I realized that, I didn't have, I couldn't hear things because, my headphones and everything were on silent. Because I went to go back and check something, and I was like, wait. And then I was like, oh, it's on silent. And I was like, oh my god. Thank god everything was recording, because I'm like, if my thing was on mute, it was, luckily just my sound on mute, not my, microphone. I could see it moving the whole time, but, we've done this before where I look down and I see it moving, but it's because it's recording the game sound, not my microphone. But anyway, I had turned it up before, and then I was like, what the hell? Everything is suddenly loud. I do feel like the last part, I don't know if there was any background sound, but I don't know if that's because my sound was muted. But it still should have come through my capture card, so I have no idea. If, so I don't know, if things have been weird, then that's that. Whatever, as long as my voice recorded and I don't have to re-record parts, we're good, because I don't have time for that. We're gonna die if I have to go back, guys. I turned when I heard footsteps and saw Ayamu walking toward me. Good morning. You've come again. He doesn't look so thrilled about this. I thought I told you enough. Do you still want to know more? Irritation flashed across Ayamu's face for a brief moment, but it wasn't the same cold stare I'd experienced previously. There's something I want to say to you. I've been thinking a lot about it, and I just feel I have to tell you. About what? Me? He sounded so surprised that I realized maybe I'd said something embarrassing, but I couldn't back down now. That's right. I couldn't help thinking about you after what happened. You really are so... Perhaps I've been too direct. Ayamu hesitated for a moment, but soon spoke again. Come in, then. We'll talk inside. So what's on your mind? Ayamu, I finally understand that you've accepted your way of life and that you think nothing of your parents. And I don't really have the right to comment on that. I respect your feelings. And then there's no problem. Well, that's true, but after hearing about your circumstances, I'd like to tell you my thoughts, but it's up to you whether you want to hear them. Just a few days ago, Ayamu would have stopped me right there, but he didn't now. Fine. I'll at least hear what you have to say. He turned to me, ready to listen. His willingness to hear me out bolstered my courage, and I said, Don't be so willing to die. Make sure you live for Rizzy. I feel like it's don't be so willing to die. Because make sure you live for Rizzy. That he's already doing that, and that's not the reason to live for someone else. I mean, again, sometimes, because I thought that was the earlier theory I had when we didn't know his parents were still alive, was maybe he's like Mihayo wanted to die after his parents died, and I'm pretty sure Ayamu made that comment or whatever, and it's okay, I mean, that's fine if you're in a really shitty place and you're struggling, that you pin that, desire to keep going on another person. Because everyone should have that desire to keep going. And if you don't, seriously seek help. Call hotlines, call a therapist, find someone to talk to, seriously. It's my little PSA there. But, for Ayamu, if he was in that place and what was pulling him out was I need to protect Rizzy. Okay, fine. It's okay temporarily, but then at a certain point, you need to grow and expand and realize that you should be living for yourself. You know what I mean? You have to change. So saying, make sure you live for Rizzy is nah, don't be so willing to die. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay, good. I was good God, if that's not the right answer, what the fuck? Please don't be so willing to die. Are you still worried about what I said as Haruka? Of course. I can't just ignore it. I was wondering what you were going to say. That's none of your concern. But Ayumu didn't seem to care about himself as usual, so I tried my best to explain. I didn't used to think about death. But that's different now. Joining the Blooms has forced me to think about it all the time. Or to be more exact, I have ever since I lost Lizzie. When someone close to you dies, it's difficult to describe how you felt at the time. You're sad and in pain, and it's unbearable. I felt so helpless, and there was nothing I could do about it. It was like that every day. I know you suffered. But you suffering over your friend's death is different from me accepting my own. I wouldn't be able to stay sane if I lost Ritsu or Tokyo. It's terrible when you lose someone close to you. I know that. He said it so plainly, but I shook my head. No, that's not it. What I meant was that I don't want you to regard your life so casually. You talk about your death mechanically, as if you're something that will just break down, like it's nothing. You're treating yourself like a science experiment, like your parents treat you like a science experiment is fucked up, basically. You're not incorrect. I already told you I'm only living for Ritsu's sake. As long as I can protect her, I don't care if I die. That's what I'm talking about! Why are you giving up on yourself so easily? This is our time to slam him against the chalkboard and then make out with him. Is that a giant TV or like an actual chalkboard? Because it's very shiny, like it's a TV screen. Like it's a giant screen. Like, but this, oh, that's true. This is in the future, so it's a fancy fucking, like, screen in the class. That makes sense. You know, my brain, because I see, like, the greenish tinge, and I'm like, it's a really weird shiny chalkboard. I'm like, no, it's probably a giant monitor, but I'm like, what fucking school has giant-ass monitors like that? Keep forgetting this is in the future. Anyway. You think Rizzy and Tokyo were precious, right? Why would you assume you were not? Me? Precious? Yeah? I know even I'd be affected if you died. It would hurt if you passed away like Lizzie, and so... Makes me really sad to see you just throwing your life away. And angry! Pardon? I said I'm angry! Really? I was trying to convey how I felt, and I ended up getting all emotional. I even surprised myself when I said that. Do you understand what you're saying? Ayumu was also clearly confused, but I decided to keep going. I might have chosen the wrong words, but they were the closest to how I felt. When I first met you as our student council president, you were friendly, but I could sense you had this emotional wall. It was like you weren't real. That's what you thought. Wasn't it true? You were always smiling, and we'd never had a genuine conversation. I didn't know what you were like deep down, but when we fought, you were much more real with me. I really thought you were terrible, but I was happy to see the true you. Are you trying to pick a fight with me again? Ayumu sounded exasperated, but there was a gentleness in his voice. I said I was happy about it. I think it's good that we fought. But you know what? I felt like you then put that wall right back up. Or rather, like you tried to run away. It wasn't fair. Why isn't that fair? Because you were really going at me, you know? Well, he'd like to go at you, I'm sure. You fought with me all the time and said some awful things, and then you just kind of gave up. You gave up on life and tried to run away. That's not fair. If you're gonna make me mad, at least follow through to the end. Don't give up so easily. Don't give up on your life like that. I feel like what they were lacking in this is you treat your life like it's like whatever she said before, the phrasing, like you're like a robot, like you're not real. It's like you're treating yourself the way your parents treat you, and that's fucked up. You know what I mean? To kind of point out, your parents treated you like you were disposable, and you were treating yourself like you're disposable. And you know what? You should be standing up for yourself like you stand up for Rizzy. You know what I mean? You are not disposable. Stop thinking like your parents. You know what I mean? Because if you compared him to his parents and said you're thinking about yourself the way they think about you, I feel like that could kind of snap him too. Because you're like, oh, my parents are awful. And it's like, yeah, you're like them. You know what I mean? Like, that's the fastest way to snap someone out of bullshit. Well, it's the fastest way to make them mad and be like, how dare you? No, I'm not. Ah! And then they get all mad and run away. And then later they're like, yeah, actually, you know what? My emotions poured out. I knew I wasn't making much sense, but I couldn't stop. I just want Ayumu to live. If I can convey that to him, then he can think whatever he likes of me. I couldn't look him in the eye and kept my gaze downward. Soon I heard him speak. You're really all over the place. Seriously. What? I heard Ayamu laugh and I looked up to find him smiling. Fine, I lose. I didn't expect you to bring up our fight like that. And you said it was unfair of all things? You've spouted off some nonsense in the past, but this really takes the cake. Ayamu laughed when he said he lost, but I actually felt like the loser here. Why are you laughing? I get that I might be talking nonsense, but when you laugh like that... I'm sorry, I'm not making fun of you. I just think I've been foolish. To be honest, I won't be able to change my life right away. If I got into the same situation again, I'd probably say the same things. But for some reason, in this moment, all the stuff about my way of life and dying sounds so ridiculous in the grand scheme of things. You've observed me and said a lot of things I hadn't considered. It's just all so funny. That's why I laughed. I haven't laughed that much since I was a kid. Ayamu reached out to me then. His hand brushed against my cheek before resting on top of my head. I like how he's gonna like pat you on the head like you're a sister, but he brushes your cheek before he does it. That romantic moment before you head pat me as like a sister, which is probably also romantic for you. Laughing made me feel better. Thank you. Ayamu stroked my hair gently as he said that. I felt strangely embarrassed by it and couldn't look up. But I didn't need to look to know what kind of expression was on Ayamu's face. I don't want you to die. That's the only thing I wanted to tell you. But I ended up saying a lot more. But if you were able to laugh because of it, then it was worth it. You seem really happy about me laughing. I don't understand you. Why are you so concerned about me? Because I almost just gave some response out of reflex, but I stopped myself. I spent a lot of time thinking about Ayamu, but maybe he was right. Maybe I just wanted to see him smile. I don't know why myself. But it did make me really happy, as you said. I was glad to see you smile. I decided not to deny anything and just admit it. I see. I thought it was a good thing you came here today. For both of us. We felt quiet for a while after he said that. However, Ayamu continued to stroke my hair even though we were silent. Like, hi, getting a little touchy-feely. Your hand's still going. I didn't know what else to say, but say something. I didn't know what else to do, but say something. Sorry, I don't know why I read that weird. My hand. Oh. I don't know why, but doing this feels nice. Do you not like it? I don't hate it, but I just don't know how I should react. It's a bit embarrassing. Can't really look you in the eye. I feel like that would have been an adorable CG, but we didn't get one. I see. So you'd prefer another place, then? I'm... Sir? Phrasing? What? Hi? The good thing I'm sitting down. I might have fallen over. Like, excuse me? You can't come out of the blue like that. I looked up at him, as I didn't think that was the right conclusion to draw. As I did, Ayamu continued to speak. Here's the thing, like, if each one's about, like, 6 hours? No? Well, this is only, like, the 4th hour? So, I feel like we'll get our end in the next part, because in the part after, the 6th hours usually are, like, wrap-up and everything. So, like, but, like, I wouldn't expect a romantic moment, like, are you gonna try to kiss me now? Because, like, I wasn't expecting that here. Like, here. He pinched my cheek, and I let out a weird sound. Oh, he pinched my cheek. Okay, he's stroking my hair, and you're like, your hand's still going, oh, you want me to do it somewhere else? Were you gonna... Okay, I don't think we're gonna get sexy times like that. Like, that's a little inappropriate, but also, like, what are you gonna, like, stroke my arm, or, like, stroke my cheek? Like, that's a little way more formal. That's way more forward than, like, patting me on the head like I'm a dog or your sister. Like, holy shit. Let me stroke your cheek all sexily. Ayamu, I'm sorry. What are you doing? You look really funny. The comment irritated me, so I grabbed his hand and pulled it away. It's your fault I look like that. What a rude thing to say. I know, but I do like looking at you when you're all pouty like that for some reason. Yeah, you also like pinning us to things and being aggressive, but... Or maybe I just like seeing different sorts of expressions on you. What an interesting discovery. What's that supposed to mean? That was the weirdest laugh. It came out like a squeak. It was so bizarre. I thought about snapping back with some sort of retort, but Ayamu beamed with such happiness that any anger I had dissipated. That's when I noticed something else. Feels like something between us has shifted. Enemies went to lovers. Well, you're on the precipice. You were enemies up here, and enemies fighting on the edge of the building. Now you're on that edge of that building, just waiting to plummet into the lover pit. There used to be this irritating feeling, like we'd never understand each other, but any tension we'd had was completely gone. We were both so peaceful and relaxed in that moment. Oh, poor Booger Boo. Oh, he's like, you were gonna grab me! I was gonna grab you. I'm sorry! You have so many pin feathers, but you were sitting on my chest all calm, and I wanted to grab you and try to get them out. But then people would have to be listening to you, be like, ah! You wouldn't scream, trust me. You might, they wouldn't hurt. I'd be gentle. You need to get them out. You need to let me get them. I try to do it one-handed, but then people would be listening, and I'd be like, I'm preening the bird, don't worry about it. And then they'd sit here for 10 minutes while I did it. I'm going to have to grab you and do it later. I know, you have so many of them in your neck. You can't get to them. You can't get to them, and I know they bug you. I know they do. Oh, poor birdie. I wonder if Replacement Lizzie's already here. A few days later, I was going to meet up with Replacement Lizzie for the first time in a while. I made my way to the courtyard, but was surprised by what I found there. So you're going to hang out with Ritsu now? Yep, that's right. Ayamu whispered his question. He'd been waiting with Rizzy and came up to me before she could. Ayamu, are you still unhappy about Rizzy hanging out with me? It's not that. I said the other day it was fine. It's just... hey! Rizzy approached hesitantly while Ayamu and I were talking. My brother asked if he could join us today. Would you mind? He wants to hang out with us? I certainly wasn't expecting that at all. I yelled without intending to, and Ayamu looked a bit annoyed. Look at his pout. I don't need to be so surprised. I like getting out too on occasion. It's been a while since I've spent time with Ritsu, and I also wanted a chance to talk with you. Of course, I won't interfere with your plans. You're shopping, aren't you? And then I can at least carry any heavy bags. I love this. Sounds great. I thought we'd come to some sort of understanding in the student council room, but mulling over what he said just now, I couldn't help but think he had some ulterior motive. He wants to spend time with us because he's kind of into us. So, you felt like going out, so you decided to tag along. Is that it? And that's what I said. I'm not trying to impose. If you don't want me to join you, just say so. No, it's fine. Let's all hang out. Ayamu had sounded more disappointed than I expected, so I involuntarily agreed to him coming along. Oh, thank goodness. I know this is all a little sudden. I figured there'd be nothing to do about it if you said no, but I'm glad you agreed, Spacey. I wouldn't say no. I'm happy for Ayamu to join us, especially now that he's not being a raging douchebag to us. And we kind of fallen in love now. Great, then it's settled. Ayamu smiled at my response, which made me regret suspecting his motives. Besides, I'm happy to hear he wanted to talk more. Once decided, the three of us endeavored to enjoy our time together. So where are we going today? I'm a little worried about you, Ritsu, since you don't go into town that often. It'll be fine with the three of us, but I want to make sure you don't get lost. I'll be following you closely. And you. I want you to stay next to Ritsu and keep an eye on her. I see you're still overprotective. The general relaxed atmosphere made me feel bolder, so I just let him know what was on my mind. And I see you're still speaking more than necessary. He's acting just like usual. Relief washed over me when I saw his familiar sarcastic smile. It was just easier to talk to him when he was like this. That may be so, but I think you say too little, Ayamu. You should talk more. It's such a shame that I'm the only person who experiences the joy of getting to know your sarcastic side. You really just keep going, don't you? And you're saying all of this in front of Ritsu. If you ask me, your behavior is much more appalling. It's more appalling to hide who you really are. But this is how you're going to treat me when I'm trying to compromise. I might have to reconsider my actions if you don't change your attitude. Our friendly banter was quickly escalating into a fight. Then we suddenly heard laughter coming from beside us. She's like, you two are so getting married. You two seem really close. What? What could have possibly made you think that, Ritsu? Tokyo's the only other person you talk to this much. She's different from Tokyo. I'm gonna guess you don't want to have sex with Tokyo. I mean, couldn't blame you if you did, because he's beautiful, so. Ayumu denied what Rizzy said, but it didn't come off as cold. I decided I should voice my opinion, too. I'm glad to know the real you. We're not that close. I'm glad to know the real you. That's so much nicer than we're not that close. This is like a nice thing to say to him. Yeah. I'm not overly fond of your sass, but I'm glad to know the real you. So it's not great that we argue all the time. I think it's good we can be open like this. Ayumu's face lit up with a genuine smile when I said that. This is how I really am. If you're glad to know me, then you'll just have to accept my sharp tongue. Sir, phrasing and promises. To make everything inappropriate. So have you decided not to hide how you really are from Rizzy? This is your fault, you know, and Ritsu wouldn't harbor any ill feelings toward me no matter what. Isn't that right? That's right. I always have respect for you, and I love that we're talking like this now. See, Ritsu's fine with it, so there's no problem. I felt warmth surge through me as I watched Ayumu and Rizzy smile at each other. It really felt like the three of us had bonded. All right, let's get going. We better hurry before it gets dark. Quite right. Propelled by our excitement, we quickly exited the school grounds together. Yeah, see, I mean, like, he just seems very overprotective of his sister to me. Like, okay, sometimes he says things you're like, that's borderline inappropriate. Like, it's concerning. But the actions and most of it, it's just very overprotective. Like, simmer down, bro. But I get why he's like that. So, like, so far I haven't seen any reason to actually be really concerned. You know what I mean? It's been a while since I went into town with friends. The elaborate window displays looked even more dazzling than I remembered them. Rizzy, let's check out that shop. Wow, that outfit's so cute. I'm sure it looked great on you, Spacey. Oh no, I actually thought it would look good on you, Rizzy. We can always get the same thing. We should at least both try it on. Different colors, though. Getting the same outfit might be embarrassing, but if we're just trying it on... Hey, watch where you're going, you two. Ayumu calmly guided us as we'd been too excited to pay attention to where we were walking. I can throw away your drink, Ritsu, if you're finished. You better give me yours, too. You can't go into the store with it. Thanks. Ayumu had been doing these nice little things for Rizzy and me the entire time. Maybe he's just the caring sort, and not only toward Rizzy. I watched as he strode away with our trash. As I thought about him, replacement Lizzie let out an exclamation. Oh! What is it? I think this shop sells crystals. This one's so beautiful. Rizzy was looking at the window for the store next to the boutique. I joined her. You're right. It says that one attracts happiness. Each crystal has a different meaning. This one can improve your relationships, and this one helps with your studies. Are you interested in one, Ritsu? Ayumu appeared by her side without me realizing it and perused the shop window as well. I know you've been studying really hard, so maybe the academic one. Ritsu hesitated as her gaze flicked over to another part of the display. I realized she was eyeing some bracelets rather than an individual stone. Were you looking at those bracelets? They're super cute. Yeah, they're lovely. Ritsu's face lit up with a smile when I pointed at the bracelets. Seems my guess was spot on. And then I'll buy you one. Which one do you like? Rizzy hesitated again when Ayumu offered to buy her something. It's a gift. No need to feel shy about it. Rizzy's finally answered with Ayumu's gentle encouragement. To be honest, I've always wanted something similar to what you wear. I knew immediately that Rizzy was talking about Ayumu's bracelet. It's probably Ayumu's charm. And this is... Ayumu faltered as he touched his bracelet. Then he glanced over at me. Is that... Yeah, it is. Though we only had a short exchange under our breaths, I understood what he meant. It wasn't that he was hiding it. He just didn't think Rizzy would notice, so he wasn't sure what to say. I didn't realize you paid that much attention to what I wore, Ritsu. It's not really the type of style I think girls would go for. Do you really want something like it? Yes. If I had one that's a similar design, then I'd be able to feel close to you even when we're far apart. It reminded me of you. That's very sweet of you. Yeah, she's like just as clingy with her brother, so... Then I'll go and see if they have something similar. Ayumu couldn't turn down Rizzy's request after hearing her reason. It's pretty crowded in there, so I'll just go myself. Look after Ritsu for me. You got it. He was worried about leaving her alone for even a short while. I watched him walk into the shop before turning to Rizzy. He really cares about you a lot. Yeah, I care about him too. We're the only family we have. She's saying he's her only family, then Rizzy must not think very highly of her parents either. She doesn't know she has parents. I didn't know if I should mention their family, but since I'd already heard the story from Ayumu, I plucked up the courage to ask her, oh God, Rizzy, do you not see your parents much? Oh. I was wondering if, she didn't know she had parents. She was like, they died, but... So, my brother told you about our family? A little bit. I heard they're researchers and they rarely see you, and that you grew up in the research district. I avoided mentioning Ayumu's feelings about everything. Rizzy gave a slight nod. I think I've seen less of our parents than my brother. I lived in the facilities ever since I was born, and my brother was the only family who'd come see me. Sometimes he took me to see our parents, but they didn't really feel like parents to me. That's why I consider my brother to be my only family. I know that may sound heartless. I don't think so. My parents passed away, so our circumstances are different. But even if they were alive and I met them now, I wouldn't be able to immediately feel like they were my parents. Family isn't just about being blood related. The relationships themselves are very important. I tried to convey my understanding by relating it to my own situation. Rizzy smiled at me as I did. I get it. Tokyo is also like family to me since he'd come visit with my brother. And now you're here, Speezy. Considering all that, I'm very happy with my life. I'm glad to hear it. I'm also happy to have met you, Rizzy. I do have someone who I consider my family. He's my guardian and we email each other. Also, Lizzie came to mind as well. She'd been my friend and confidant, and she'd been there for me more than any family. I felt both the dull ache of grief and a sense of warmth just remembering her. Well, she's gone now, but there was someone I really cared about. That's why I know. I know how much you and Ayumu care for each other, and that's why you're so afraid of losing one another. Yes, of course. Rizzy emphatically agreed, probably sensing how serious I was. But my brother... Rizzy began to say something, but then stopped herself. I followed her gaze and saw Ayumu coming out of the store. Sorry to take so long. How's this one? He held up a bracelet that looked incredibly similar to the one he wore. Wow! Oh, that's me. Wow, it's practically identical. It really is. It's just what I wanted. I'm glad. Here, hold out your hand. Seeing how much Rizzy liked it, Ayumu went to put the bracelet on her. Like this? Yeah, now hold still. I hung back and watched as Ayumu wrapped the bracelet around Rizzy's wrist and fastened it. Ritsu, you said that wearing this bracelet would help you feel close to me. And that it would remind you of me. In that case, I'll think of this bracelet in the same way. I'll wish for your happiness even when I'm not around. And I'll wish for that happiness to always be protected. Thank you, Ayumu. Ayumu sounded so earnest when he spoke about what he wishes for Rizzy. Rizzy was glad to hear it, but something about her seemed melancholic as well. Maybe it has to do with what Rizzy was going to say right before Ayumu came back. Maybe she's like, my brother cares about me too much and not enough about himself? She's not stupid. I continued to mull the situation over after we left the crystal store. I think Rizzy's probably already realized that Ayumu doesn't really care about himself. I'd noticed it, so there was no way Rizzy wouldn't, since Ayumu was so wholeheartedly devoted to her. He's important to her, but he doesn't care about himself. I imagine that would make her sad, no matter how much love he shows her. Considering all that, Rizzy's downcast demeanor started to make sense. Hey, why are you so out of it? You're gonna run into someone. Oh, sorry. Ayumu's words snapped me back to reality, but now I found I couldn't stop staring at his face. What? He looked the same as usual, but now I knew the range of his feelings. The range of feelings he could show. Wow. I felt a surge of emotion when I remembered how earnest he'd been with Rizzy. Replacement Lizzie. Ayumu, I've come to a decision. A decision? About what? He looked confused, but I didn't answer his question and turned to Rizzy instead. Rizzy, I'm afraid I have to go home. I just remembered there's something I have to do. What? Let's hang out again soon, and I'll see you later, Ayumu. I turned around and left before either of them could respond. They might think that was odd, but I can't let them find out where I'm going. I didn't know if this idea was a good one, but I really hope that one day Ayumu and Rizzy would be able to be truly happy together again. So I decided this idea of mine was worth the gamble. Okay. The next morning, I waited for Ayamu in front of the student council room like I'd done before. What are you doing here? Well, I suppose I should have known. Ayamu said that with some exasperation as he stopped in front of me, but it didn't seem like he wanted me to leave. I wouldn't be surprised if you started waiting for me here every morning. Yeah, guess it's become a habit. Come on in. You want to talk about something, right? That sounds so like... He's like, I wouldn't be surprised if you were every morning. It sounds like a guy who's kind of frustrated that a girl's stalking him in school, you know what I mean? Oh, hi, because I like you. Oh my god, hi, I like you. Yeah, you're showing up here all the time. I get it, you're into me, go away. But like, I mean, she doesn't realize she's into him yet, so... Ayamu showed me into the student council room, and I took out a small package from my bag. There's something I wanted to give you. I feel I have to ask. It's not food, is it? I made a face at him. I'd seen how he dealt with food he didn't want numerous times. It'll be a long time before I make anything for you. I thought so. Though I know you better now, so I could have made an exception. That's actually kind of cute of him. He's like, I know you better, so I would have made an exception if you cooked me something. And it's like, you want me to cook you something? What? I didn't say that. Sure. I might have been tempted to try it. You flirting with me? Glad to hear you trust me so much, but it's still not good for you to change your attitude depending on the person. The conversation was veering off course, so I quickly steered us back on track. Anyway, could you hold out your hand? My hand? Like this? Not your palm. Yeah, the back of your hand. I have no clue what you're doing, but if it's something weird, just be quiet and keep still. Having said that, I now felt more nervous than Ayamu, even though he was the one who didn't know what was going to happen. I hope this goes over well. Are you... She's giving him a ring. I took Ayamu's hand and placed a ring on his pinky. I bought it at the crystal shop yesterday. We're giving him a ring. How romantic. Also with the CG, but like, that's how I knew it was a ring before reading the text, because I could see the ring in her hand. That is so funny. She's like, here, give me your hand. And then she puts one in, now we're married. And he's like, what? Like, oh my god. Girl, it's a little abrupt to just slip a ring on a man's finger. You didn't even ask him if he wanted to go steady. The ring had the same stone as Rizzy's bracelet, and it shimmered slightly when the light from the window hit it. I also wish that your happiness will be protected, Ayamu. Ayamu was clearly surprised, but I held onto his hand tightly to convey my sincerity. You bought this for me. After a pause, Ayamu spoke up quietly. It was difficult for me to tell what he was feeling. Perhaps he didn't like it. I tried to think of a way to explain it. Yeah, after I left you two yesterday, I went back and got it at the same shop. And that's not what I meant exactly. Why did you buy it for me? And just now, you said what I said to Ritsu. Now I felt I understood what Ayamu was feeling. He was nervous. I bore that in mind as I continued. After hearing about your background, I thought I understood why you cared so much for Rizzy. But something felt off to me. I thought my explanation was perfectly clear. What could possibly feel off? You may think that, but you probably don't see it because it has to do with yourself. I noticed something for the first time when I saw you and Rizzy together yesterday. That you wanted what you were... Wait. That you wanted what you were doing for Rizzy. That you wanted what you were doing for Rizzy. That's the feeling I got, at least. I'm very confused by that. Phrasing? I wanted what now? Ayamu, you said that you had this inexplicable emotion when Rizzy was born. It could have been love, or maybe it was admiration. Innocent, untainted, and pure. Those were the words Ayamu used to describe Rizzy when she was born. And yesterday, he held Rizzy's hand and wished fervently for her happiness. To me, it felt like he was longing for something he could never have. You're saying that's how I feel about Ritsu. Yeah, you saw everything you couldn't have and everything you'd given up on in Ritsu, didn't you? That's not true. Ayamu denied it, but he didn't sound confident, and I knew for certain I was right when I saw his expression. I was just guessing when I said that, but I'm more sure of it now. Why? Because you look so happy. You actually looked really glad when I said the same thing you did. I looked up at Ayamu, who was a whole head taller than me. Not only were his cheeks flushed, but so were his ears. How adorable! Are you feeling a little shy right now? Don't ask me that. Ayamu's voice shook with nervousness. He then reached out and pulled my head to his chest. Oh! The CG's actually, version of the CG is really cute. She's all blushy and goofy, but then he's all, oh, it's sweet. Huh? Pull away. Stay there. Girl, don't move. I only have one hand. The bird's snugged in the other one, but you better be stay there. Hell yeah. Better fucking be stay there. I remained where I was, and he continued to hug me. I could tell my face was burning up. However, his hand was so gentle, I didn't feel anything like the urge to run away. I'm a little embarrassed, but I don't hate it. And just stay right there. Don't move. Sure. I felt the warmth radiating from Ayamu's body, and any nervousness I had began to subside as I regained my composure. Are you just repeating what I said earlier? About how you wanted my happiness to be protected? He whispered his question into my ear, and I gently shook my head. No, I said it because I meant it. You don't exactly take great care of yourself. That's why I wished for that. You've been saying that I need to take better care of myself for a while now. Yeah. Like I said before, I can't change my life right away. I've lived this way for too long. But if you're wishing for my happiness in my stead, well, that doesn't feel half bad. It's actually comforting. I'm glad. Good. His usual collected tone had returned, indicating that he'd calmed down as well. But I could still feel heat from where our bodies touched, and we both remained motionless like that for a while longer. It's sweet. Are you heading home now? Oh, hey, yeah, I am. Ayamu approached me a few days later after school. We hadn't spoken after I'd given him the ring, so I felt oddly nervous about talking to him. It's all a bit awkward, or maybe it's more embarrassing. I was trying to figure out what to say when I noticed that Ayamu looked a bit strange. Did something happen? Oh, yeah, it's not a big deal, but my father tried to contact me when I was busy with student council work. He rarely ever does that, so I've been debating whether I should call him back. Do your parents ever contact you for anything besides research? It was safe to say I had a bad impression of them. Started to feel worried, not just for Ayamu, but for Rizzy too. No, almost never, and they never contact me during the day when they know I'm at school. It's so unusual it's making me feel uneasy. And I'm worried they'll also contact Ritsu. You must have had the same thought I had. I was gonna call her, but then I saw you and thought I'd talk to you first. Have you spoken to Ritsu today? No, I haven't. She said she had to do some student council work as well. I see. Then I should call her right away. Have your parents ever tried to contact her directly in the past? No. I told them to go through me if they needed anything. But as I said, it's rare for them to even call me. It's possible they gave up on trying to reach me and went to Ritsu. I think you should also call your parents back. And of course, get in touch with Rizzy. Right, I'll do that. But immediately after Ayamu said that, we heard an announcement. It's flower blooming time! Come gather round! That's us! Right, I'll be along soon. I need to get hold of my parents and Ritsu before I go. Can you let them know Haruka will be a little late? I'll catch up to you all so you can head out right away. Okay. I wanted to know what his parents were going to say, but I couldn't also be late. I rushed over to the command center to relay Haruka's message. Hi there, you're the first one here today. That's never happened before. Good for you. As usual, the commander didn't seem at all stressed, despite the fact that we had a mission. Rio sat next to him in front of his computer and said nothing. He was focused on his own work. I couldn't tell how urgent the mission was from looking at them, so I thought I should ask. But before I could, I heard footsteps behind me. I thought I was the last one here. It appears everyone arrived at the same time. So where are the Vectors today? I need to hurry if they've gone into the residential district. No, that's not where they are, but we still need to get a move up. Oh wait, we seem to be missing Haruka. Haruka's gonna be late. She said she'd catch up with us. You've spoken with Haruka? Sana's eyes widened in surprise, and I realized it'd be better if I didn't let on how well I knew Haruka and Ayamu. He said his identity was confidential, so I better keep it a secret, right? I thought about how best to answer, but then Mocha jumped in. If she's gonna be late, then it's all the more reason we should get out there. Right. I kept things vague in the end, and we all headed to where the Vectors had appeared. They've already gotten this far. The Vectors had made it to town, but thanks to the alarms, there were no civilians on the streets. Sorry I'm late. Haruka joined up with us right when we spotted the Vectors. Everything all right? I was worried about what happened, so I whispered that to Haruka. She answered under her breath. Yeah, well, something happened, but we have to focus on the Vectors for now. Right, understood. The Vectors required our full attention. I looked at them again and realized there weren't that many. Is this it? There are less of them than we're used to. No, I contacted... Oh, I don't know why I was giving Sana voice to Kaori. No, I contacted the commander just now, and there seem to be more near the outer wall. And then let's take out the ones around here and start to get on... Here, stat, and get on over there. Yes, we must hurry. It'd be troublesome if they joined up. When you're not playing Kamui, it's so much easier to make Sana sound kind of like a robot. Got it. Attack the Vectors, cast Augment on everyone. Attack the Vectors, because augmenting everyone right now, we don't know what's at the outer wall, and there's not that many. So let's not put our 100... Let's not give 100% right now. We might need our 120% later. You know what I mean? Yeah. If it was just these guys, fine. All right, I'll take that one. I'll back you up. I ran ahead, Haruka trailing after me. We joined forces and struck the Vector with our punches and kicks. Ah! Huh! The Vector staggered, and before it could recover, I went in for a second strike. You're done for! My attack knocked the Vector over, putting it out of commission. Haruka, however, remained alert and scanned our surroundings. Let's find the next one. That way. On it. Oh. We defeated all the Vectors in town, then moved to the outer wall of the financial district. A familiar face, or three, greeted us when we arrived. See? That's why you wait. Save, augment for now. Moravia! Hyuga and Yukonami are here too. Hearing that, Haruka immediately called out. I'll take care of Hyuga. I sensed determination in her voice and remembered when we fought Hyuga before. Hyuga and Yukonami completely overwhelmed us back then. Haruka might be looking for revenge. Then I'll get Moravia. Sana, you handle Yukonami since you have foresight. In that case, I'll need you and Mocha as backup. Can do! We got you. We decided on our strategy and mounted our attack, carefully closing it. You can't play the game. You don't know how to read. He's trying to bite my Oh, that's what it is that you want, huh? You don't want... You're not poking at my controller. You're poking because I was holding it in my left hand to get my right hand to break, and you were like, no, lady, I want the hand. You wanted the hand to pet you. Yeah, you did. Oh, you're so cute. Look at you, fluffy butt. Oh, you're so precious. You're just the cutest little thing, and you're going to scream and bite me in a hot second, but... We decided on our strategy and mounted our attack, carefully closing it. I read that already, sorry. The bird's distracting me because he's so precious and cute and fluffy. You're so fluffy. All these little attacks here and there, they're so irritating. Hey, that's my line. Why don't you quit running around and actually try and hit me? Like this! Sana easily parried Yukonami's kick. It will take more than that to hit me. There's no way you'll win with sheer power alone. You don't know that. We've got Augment on our side. And besides... trying to fake me out, I see. So this is your real attack. Ha! Wrong again. It's this. Kaori kicked Moravia's arm, catching her off guard. That actually hurt. Now it's my turn. The fight continued to escalate. Mocha and I desperately tried to keep up and provide support as we took care of the Vectors in the area. We were able to make the fight an even match on our end, but Haruka was having more trouble.
flame dust!
Huh, you think that piddly little fire'd hurt me? Or are you just messing up? That's not really Hugo's voice. Oh, whatever, doesn't matter. Are her flames weaker than usual? Or is Hugo right? She just made a mistake. Her flames are weaker than usual because she's falling in love with you. Aw, we know what happens. But Haruka didn't look like she just made a miscalculation. She looked like she was in pain. I don't know why Haruka's having a hard time, but I have to back her up. Cast Augment, attack Hyuga, attack together with Haruka. It could be any one of those. I feel like Augment Haruka, but... Ooh, okay. 3! Save file 3! Wait, nope. Oh, we were up here. Okay. Alright, and the right answer? Attack together! Okay. I'll back you up. Let's do this together!
Thanks. I'll attack directly then.
Go for it! I moved next to Haruka and unleashed a series of attacks to keep Hyuga from going on the offensive.
You still want to do this? We've already defeated all your vectors.
The fight dragged on, and it didn't seem like either side was close to a win. I have a suspicion that you're the ones reaching your limit, but we don't have an overwhelming advantage either. Moravia, I'm getting tired over here. Tch, and I'm out of ammo. Our enemies were clearly fatigued as well. Since you've so kindly offered us an out, we'll be retreating now. Hold on. You think we're just gonna let you go? As if you could chase us. You're carrying dead weight same as us. I looked to where Hyuga gestured and saw... Haruka was completely out of breath. I guess that's that. Catch you later. They beat a hasty retreat. I confirmed that all three had disappeared behind the outer wall, then hurried to Haruka's side. Haruka, are you alright?
I'm fine, but I'm sorry. And this is all my fault. No, we're under orders not to follow them too far. Our best option is to retreat.
Stop, that hurt. Let us return. We've already fulfilled our duties. You got that right. I knew just from watching Haruka that she'd used all of her strength in that battle. No one blamed Haruka when we returned to the command center. She's in love. Oh, I see. I got it. Understood. Well, that's what we'll have to do. The commander was speaking to someone on his cell phone when we entered the room, but he immediately hung up upon seeing us. Great work, everyone. Yep. Stellar fight all around. You didn't see the last bit, did you? Who were you on the phone with? Seemed like a pretty frosty conversation to me. The commander hesitated for a moment, but ended up relenting and explained the situation. I was speaking with Director Mamiya from Sector 3. Director Mamiya? I gasped and looked toward Haruka, who was visibly tense. She nodded at me. So he was talking to her father. To tell you the truth, the research district observed this mission. The previous one, too. You mean when we were investigating outside Theta? Ugh, so they were spying on us. It's kind of creepy if you ask me. Sorry I didn't tell you, but they needed to take your data without you being aware of it, so they decided to keep it secret. So were they satisfied with what they got? Well, it's more like they want more. They're particularly interested in Hyuga.
Why just him? Moravia is clearly more powerful.
They're interested in Hyuga because they have no idea because they know who Hyuga is. You know what I mean? Like, they know exactly, like, yeah, Moravia and Yukonami escaped from the lab, and Hyuga is like, they're like, how the hell did he turn into Yukonami? Curious about that. And more specifically, they're interested in the battle between Hyuga and Haruka. I noticed Haruka didn't seem all that surprised, despite suddenly becoming the topic of the conversation. Wait, perhaps this is why Ayumu's parents contacted him. If so, then Haruka volunteering to fight Hyuga today might have been because her parents wanted it. Haruka used her powers a lot when you were all fighting outside Theta. The potency of flame dust at that time attracted the interest of the researchers, and that's why they want you to fight Hyuga.
Wasn't today's fight enough?
Haruka interrupted the commander. He answered her question, though with some difficulty. Well, it wasn't a one-on-one fight.
Wait, You want Haruka to fight by herself? Are you trying to get her killed?
Yeah, at this rate, considering the fact that Ayamu's losing his powers because he's in love with us. Absolutely not. My intention is to prevent that. From the way he said that, it sounded like Ayamu's parents have other plans in mind. Can he even go against them? The commander looked troubled, so I knew it would be difficult. But Haruka remained calm.
If it's an order, I'll do it. But my powers are weakening, so they better not expect much.
They're getting weaker? So you're saying you didn't purposely hold back today?
That's right. I was fighting at full strength. I don't think I'll be able to undo my transformation for a while, if you want proof.
She can't undo her transformation? What does that mean? It seems you and I need to have a little chat. Everyone else, you're dismissed. The commander looked more serious than ever, and Haruka's grim expression worried me, but I couldn't just defy orders and stick around. I didn't have much choice but to leave with everyone else. I was still distressed about the whole ordeal after we'd all left the command center. I did my transformation and returned to the prep room. The sky grew dark as I waited for Haruka. I suppose they were having a long discussion. It's probably almost time for curfew, but I could use my status as a Blooms member to go back to my dorm after curfew. But even if I didn't have that privilege, I'd still wait for Ayamu. Oh, they're back! I heard footsteps approaching and then saw Ayamu appear from the hidden stairwell.
Here. But why?
I was waiting for you. You've got this whole thing with your parents, and then you said your powers were going. It's impossible for me not to worry after hearing all that.
Right. And that's how you are.
Ayamu smiled as he said that, but something about him seemed sad. It pained me to see him that way. What did you talk about with Mr. Kuromori?
Well, I'll tell you all that I'm allowed.
So there are some things you can't say.
Yeah, but it might be too late anyway. It may be meaningless to hide it.
Then I want you to tell me everything. I can't leave you by yourself when you seem to be in so much pain.
All right. Thank you.
He thanked me, but his expression remained dark.
I'll tell you what happened. So you know that my father contacted me before the mission. He did so to discuss fighting Hyuga, as the commander mentioned. They saw the footage from our mission outside Theta and got rather excited about it. I called him back after we got word of the Vector attack. And he told me that if Hyuga appeared during the mission, I was to fight him no matter what.
Ayamu spoke so matter-of-factly, it wasn't at all how someone would usually talk about their parents. My heart ached for him. So his dad really doesn't care if Ayamu's put in a dangerous situation.
And that's why I went ahead and volunteered to fight Hyuga. But you saw what happened when I did. No matter how much I tried, I can only shoot a small amount of fire. It's not just with flame dust either. My powers overall are deteriorating.
Do you have any idea why? It looked like both you and the commander knew the reason. I asked if he'd been able to figure it out with the commander, but Ayamu just stared at me.
I know why. And the commander's guess was the same, so that's probably what it is. That's why I can't see you anymore.
Oh. Come again? I couldn't understand what he meant. We can't see each other. Why?
I can't see you. It's for the best. My determination wavers whenever I look at you.
Ayamu's smile was filled with sorrow. I couldn't help but say something when I saw it. I kind of understand, like, it hurts, but I kind of understand that he, like, Kamui being like, fuck my powers, I'll lose them all just to love you, whatever, you know what I mean? But, like, Ayamu's doing all of this to protect his sister, so, you know he's got to be thinking, if I lose my powers, they're gonna start experimenting on Ritsu, and I can't let that happen. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, it's so sad. I mean, we're gonna romance him in the end. Don't worry, it'll be fine. It'll be fine! Ayamu's smile was filled with sorrow. I couldn't help but say something when I saw it. I don't know if I read that before, I'm not sure. Why would you say that? I want to see you, Ayamu. Especially now, with all that's going on. But the more I protested, the more miserable he looked.
You can still fight normally, can't you?
I don't think anything's changed. Did that have something to do with your powers weakening? Yeah, because he's thinking, like, obviously you don't care about me the way I care about you. You know what I mean? It was such a sudden change of subject, so I asked him to clarify, but Ayamu just shook his head.
It's my problem alone if you can still fight as usual.
But we know for a fact that our power doesn't diminish when we fall in love. Yours alone? Spacey. I almost stopped breathing when Ayamu said my name, but the joy I felt was immediately dashed by what he said next.
I like you. I even like how clueless you are about this situation.
What? Are you seriously trying to pick a fight after saying you like me?
Maybe so. Looking back, all those stupid fights are happy memories for me. So, thank you. Thank you for being terribly vexing. I'm grateful you brought out my true self.
I could sense the finality in Ayamu's words, as if he were trying to leave everything in the past and excise me from his life. This is all wrong, Ayamu. Why are you talking like this is the end? The commander said he wouldn't let you fight alone. Don't say it like you're going out by yourself.
No matter what anyone says, I will fight Hyuga one-on-one. You said so yourself. It's like my parents are holding Ritsu hostage. That's why I can't go against them. It's how I've lived my whole life. And now...
Well, and I now know. I was like, I could not see the I in that set my brain.
And I now know I can't do anything to change that. I have no right to choose. All I can do is give in. That includes giving you up.
Why? I wanted to say something, but couldn't find the words, so I just went to him. He was gonna leave alone. I wanted to stop him, so I reached out, but he refused to take my hand. Instead, he took me by the shoulders and pulled me close.
If by some chance I don't come back from fighting Hyuga, please take care of Ritsu.
He sounded agonized as he whispered in my ear.
I'm planning to keep up my deal with my parents, but if there's a chance Ritsu can end up joining the Blooms, I hope you'll support her then. And even if that doesn't happen, I'd be reassured knowing that you're by her side as her friend. If only I could be your friend too. No, I shouldn't even wish for that anymore.
He stated all that without waiting for my reply, then let me go. He turned to leave the room, and she's still clueless because she's like, why can't we be friends? We don't have to be friends, we can be lovers. And he's like, that's the problem. But I think it's so cute because he's like, you can still fight, right? And she's like, yeah, totally. And he's thinking that it's my problem alone because I have feelings for you and you clearly don't have feelings for me like I do. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the misunderstanding. Wait, what am I trying to say? Tell him you love him. I'm sorry. Ayamu exited the room, leaving me standing there, confused. Ayamu likes me? No matter how clueless I could be, I knew he didn't mean just as a friend. Good for her. At the same time, I finally understood my feelings for him. I like him too. The pain in my heart lingered, and I knew it was because I had feelings for him. I lost him right when I realized it. I didn't know the reason why Ayamu said he'd give me up. But I did know that once he decides something, he doesn't easily yield. But he's gonna fight Hyuga by himself. I can't just let him go and do that. My feelings for Ayamu weren't gonna disappear just because he pushed me away. I knew it'd be an uphill battle, but I had to do something. I wondered what I could do for Ayamu. Oh, I would act the second I had a plan. Follow him, so when he goes out to fight Hyuga, you're with him. Because he's gonna need you to save his ass. And you're going to have to kick Hyuga's ass. Report obtained! But we're going to find out next time. And probably get our ending, because next time will be our 5th hour. And that's usually where we get our ending. And then the 6th one is the other endings and the reports and stuff. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up. And subscribe to see more.